Well, that's right. You need to be listening here to Legal Standpoint with Michael J. Todd. That's right. Where do you stand at legally? Where do you stand at politically? Well, I know where he is sitting at. He's sitting right across the table from me. And who do you have with you?
I have my lovely daughter, Sydney Denise Todd, with me today.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
So she's a Howard University grad. She is a new mother, has my first granddaughter, Nalani Todd.
All right.
So she's been here with us, and so she's going to join us today.
All right, all right. So you ready to roll with this,
I'm
man?
always ready to roll, man.
Always
you know
ready
that.
to roll, huh?
I'm always ready to
So,
roll.
you know, we're talking about during the intro as we did that earlier on IG Live and everything. We were talking about where you stand at politically and legally and how they changing these laws. What's going on, man?
You know what, Ed? As a criminal defense attorney, I'm very interested, of course, in the criminal justice system, how it applies to our people and to everybody, really, just to make sure that it's fairly done. And, of course, we've talked numerous times about different trends that have been ongoing in this country, how all across in different states, everybody's been going around talking about that the voting laws, that there's so much fraud that we have to change these laws. And you see the same type of legislation replicated from state to state. We've seen other things that have gone from state to state, that they're just trying to, this critical race theory type stuff, where they're trying to ban, that. We see down in Florida, they're attacking history. You see here in Texas that they're after DEI, diversity, equity, and what's the I stand
Inclusion.
for? And inclusion. They're trying to attack those programs. So about a week and a half ago, I saw something, man, that was really just a merge of the criminal justice system and all these shenanigans that folks have been pulling lately. And it just shocked me. And it was in the state of Mississippi, and I've had some...
Wait a minute, hold on. You were shocked.
I was shocked.
And where was that again?
State of Mississippi.
And you were shocked.
I was shocked.
Okay. All
I
right.
was shocked.
You shouldn't be shocked by anything in Mississippi.
Well, I've been in Mississippi before.
And you got out.
Yeah, but I do federal cases.
Mm-hmm.
I've handled probably 4 federal cases in the state of Mississippi. I'm not going to say the great state. I'm just going to say in the state of Mississippi. I've got friends there in Mississippi. I've been down there in their justice system. So, yeah, I was a little shocked with respect to what I read. And what that was this. We have, and we got to set it up, there are 82 counties in the state of Mississippi. 82. One of these counties has a city which also, of course, is the state capital for the state of Mississippi, which is Jackson, Mississippi. The county that Jackson, Mississippi is in is predominantly black.
Hinds County, right?
Hinds County. I think they have about 72% folks that are black. Now, as we know, throughout Mississippi, throughout the state of Texas, things of that nature, that generally your judges, district court judges, the ones that are sitting there and listening to cases each day about civil matters, divorces, things of that nature, and also criminal matters, murders, DWIs, things of that nature, are generally elected by the individuals within that county. Okay? Because why? You know why we kind of do that, Ed?
No, why?
Well, because we want to have accountability over those individuals. When they make decisions that are affecting the community, then they need to be accountable to that community. You follow me? So I'm sitting here and I'm reading this, and we're looking at, and these judges are elected, right? But we don't stop there. Generally, your district attorney is elected. All right? Now, here in Dallas County, we have a black DA who's John Crusoe. All right? And you have had here in Texas and some of the larger counties, individuals have begun to flex their political weight and have been able to elect individuals that are either like us, right, or have the same common interests that we have, which
right.
is, just being decent to people, right?
Right.
You know, I don't think decency is something that's just attributable to one type of person, you know, like black folks or Hispanic folks. I know plenty of white folks that are decent people.
Decent white folks.
Yeah, decent white folks. So we just want decent people. So as I'm reading this now I got to get this little background because this is why it's so shocking. Out of 82 counties in Mississippi, the state legislature, which is predominantly Republican, right? They have like a supermajority of Republicans. They have decided that in this one county in Mississippi out of the 82, that they are going to set up their own or a separate criminal justice system, meaning they are going to set up the judges that are there. They are going to set up the prosecutor that is there and also the person who's going to be the public defender there. Okay? Did I say the police force?
You did not.
I did not say the police force?
No, you didn't say
Oh,
the
okay,
police
all right.
force.
And they're going to appoint their own police force.
We just fell right in line with that one, Sydney. So what are they gonna do with their own police force? I got everything you said first. I'm outraged too, but explain the police force issue.
Well, the thing is this: they're going to have their own police force. They're going to appoint, some police officers rather than going to say, okay, Hinds County, we're going to give you additional resources, because the whole thing about this, they're saying, well, there's so much crime going on in Hinds County that we need to do something additional, right? We need more boots on the ground. But rather than going through and giving more resources to Hinds County, appointing more judges or authorizing more judges there, giving a bigger budget with respect to the existing DA, giving more money or whatever assets or programs that are needed for the police force and the public defenders, rather than doing that, which would require all of those new assets, all of those new resources to go through the existing elected individuals who just happen to be black, right? Rather than doing that, they're like, no, we're going to hook up our own little deal here. And rather than have the people elect these new people, we're going to appoint them. We're going to have the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court appoint the judges. We're going to have mechanisms in which to appoint these other individuals, the police chief, the public defender, the prosecutor, things of that nature. And so it has caused an outrage down in Mississippi, but it needs to be causing an outrage across the country. Because as the mayor of Mississippi has said, this is not only Jim Crow 2.0, this is apartheid. That they are going to have a separate system where the Republican / white individuals are going to be appointing individuals that are going to be enforcing laws in a county that's predominantly black.
So they're probably going to appoint white DAs, white judges, white police chiefs to do that then.
Well, I'm gonna say
could.
this. I'm gonna say I would think so, but they're going to, of course, appoint individuals that are Republicans, and those individuals, as we know right now, are off on a tangent with just all types of stuff.
Well, it somewhat reminds me of being in Washington D.C. a little bit.
Well, why do you say? Oh, being D.C. representation with taxation with no representation.
Exactly.
Right.
And Congress at one point in time appointed who the mayor was. Congress at one point in time appointed the police chief.
Correct.
It was over congressional oversight.
Well, that's right. And to this day, they don't have a real voting member as it relates to Congress at all.
They don't.
Right.
No, none at all. And so you guys had that situation. And, I've always felt from D.C. because, of course, I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. My daughter went to Howard in D.C.
And I'm a native Washingtonian.
Oh, you're a native Washingtonian?
I was born in Washington,
So
D.C.
I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
But the thing
That's
is.
why I'm so sensitive about this.
Well, yeah, it really is.
I didn't say sensitive. I said sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is this. So, yeah, you should be sensitive about that.
And I'm a little thrown off now about Mississippi, though.
Right.
Because, if it happens in Mississippi, it could very easily happen somewhere else.
Without a doubt, because we've been having what? With all of these other initiatives, we've been having all of this replication in other cities. Yeah, copycats. All of those CRT bills that are going through Texas and Georgia and Florida and all these other states. We talked last time we were here about how there are certain actors, certain players that are providing this language for this legislation from state to state. And what happens is that when one state sees something and it looks good, then the next state, when you have those type of people, they're like, hey, look, well, we're going to do it too. So what we have is this situation where they are trying to set up a second criminal justice system to circumvent the people who are in power now that were legally elected, and to set up something that doesn't have any type of voting system at all. It's just an appointment. I was talking to Sydney about this earlier, and one of the concerns that she expressed, which I hadn't even thought of it from this standpoint, was like the individuals who are not going to have an opportunity to vote on these people that are going to be appointed, that are going to be working in their area. I mean, how do they feel? How do they feel?
Because the crazy part to me was that the areas that they carved out to be under this new court system were white. And so I was like, seems like the white people are going to lose their votes in the area. And then it was like, so now it seems like they don't even trust white folks to vote for white folks anymore. We got to help our people down there. They misguided.
They misguided, right. they don't know what to do.
They don't know what they're doing. They're just going along with stuff.
Yeah, we saw some of them down there at the George Floyd protest.
Yeah.
So hey, we don't even want them. We don't even want them to get off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Yeah, this wokeism.
This wokeism.
We can't have that wokeism.
Can't have this wokeism.
Yeah, this wokeism. I mean, but the thing is this. Just think about that. I mean, we have to massage and we have to let that really, really sink in. They are trying to come up with a second system. They are changing the law to ensure that not only are they in political power, but now that they are maintaining the hands on the criminal justice system. And if they do it in one county, right, what's going to keep them from doing it in a second county? Okay? Let's say they're doing it now in Jackson, Mississippi, right? What's another big city in Mississippi? Do they have one? They could be doing it in Yazoo, Mississippi. Wherever
you're going to lose people in Mississippi, man.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
But, this whole deal that you just mentioned regarding that, will it fly?
Well, you know what? And this is the thing. When I first saw this, I told you I've tried cases in Mississippi before. All right, I do federal law. I've been to Mississippi maybe 4 or 5 times, and I've met a lot of attorneys down there. I've worked with a lot of attorneys, and I really respect the attorneys that are down there. So what I did, there are 2 of my guys that actually live in Jackson, Mississippi, and so when I saw this, I texted the article to them. And I said, man, what is going on here, right? Now, I'm not going to name my fellas, right? But I can say that they are not black, right? But the response I got back was, these crackers down here. And so what I'm talking about is that when we have decent folk who's supposed to be about the democratic, ideal, democracy, they see the problems. So I said, well, what's going on? So I said, well, are you going to be able to stop it? Things of that nature. And he said, well, yeah, don't worry about it. We got it under control. We got some ways in which we can stop this from being enacted.
But if you had it under control, why did they feel like they could get away with proposing it in the first place?
Oh, you want to try some.
Yeah, they're going to try. They're going to try. I mean, they always gonna try.
Yeah, you gotta try.
They always gonna try.
But they're spending a lot of time and effort trying on something if you just think it may not work.
Well, and that's true. And the thing is, it has passed the House, right? So it has to go to the Senate, which of course Republicans have a supermajority in the Senate also. All right?
Right.
So from a political standpoint, it would appear that it would pass. Now, I may be a little but I know they only had 4 hours of debate about this, this type program, right, that they're talking about, and they passed it in the House. So it has to go to the Senate. Now, you asked, how can we stop it, right?
Right.
And the best chance to stop it may be in the court system, because I just indicated to you that there are 82 counties in the state. 81 counties are going to maintain what? Their right to elect the elected officials throughout each county. So in this one place, in this one county, we're going to have this appointment stuff. So we could have some type of breach of the voting rights of the individuals who will not have the ability to vote for their elected DA, judges, and the police officers, right? We could attack it maybe from an equal protection standpoint, because they are treating this county differently than the other 81 counties that are in that particular state. So you could have some equal protection.
Which amendment is that, 14th or 15th?
That'd be 14th.
Okay.
Okay. And then
as you could tell, I've been reading the Constitution.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're a lawyer. I got to lawyer up too.
And then on top of that, if the purpose of passing this, right, is because they are trying to circumvent the black individuals within that county of having positions of power throughout the county, you could have some type of civil rights type or discrimination type causes of action with respect to this type of conduct. I mean, you have to look at it. You only are picking on one county.
Right.
It's one thing if they had decided they were going to pass this whole thing for the whole state. That may be within their purview. But when you just pick out one county versus the other 81, the question is, what's the difference between that county and the 81? All right? And so the thing is that county has a majority of black folks.
And before we go on a break, we are coming up on the 5:30 mark. But it's just amazing that they did that. They don't read the Constitution in Mississippi a lot.
Well, the thing is this: either they don't read the Constitution, or sometimes people just don't care. We've seen that, with the MAGA people. We've seen the people, the J6ers who went up there. We've heard all these people talking about, I love America and freedom, while they're trying to restrict freedom from individuals. We've heard it from individuals that say, "Oh, we love freedom, but not for them." So at this point, people are trying anything. They, whether it's going to, make the Constitution or meet the Constitution, who knows? They think that the Constitution is what they feel it should be.
Well, it's shocking that we mentioned that as well, because Mississippi was the last state in the Union to adopt the 13th Amendment, to approve the 13th Amendment.
Right.
And they did that in what year? 2013. 148 years after the amendment had passed. So that's the faith and hope that we have in Mississippi.
And doesn't their flag still have the...
They just changed that recently, the bars. They got a Magnolia.
Sure
they just changed
I thought that
it.
was South Carolina that changed.
No, yeah, they changed the bar. They just changed that one.
On the break, I'm going to have to Google that one.
Go on and Google. Hey, you're listening to Legal Standpoint with Michael J. Todd and the Commish Radio Show. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, My name is Gail Todd with Townview Realtors. If you find yourself in the market to buy, sell, lease, or maybe you want to be a part of this hot real estate market by investing, just give my team of professionals and I a call at 214-675-9572. Again, that's 214-675-9572. Or you can email me at gtodd88@yahoo.com. With me, it's all about you.
What's up, beautiful peoples out there? It's your boy Mar, a.k.a. Cool Pop Watson, baby. Make sure you check my man out 3 to 5 every Saturday. Commish Radio Show. Make sure y'all come check my man out.
Hello out there. My name is Byron Williams, former NFL player. I'm with the NFL Players Association, and when I'm not in the community, I'm listening to Mr. Ed Gray, the Commish.
I'm Pastor Freddie Haynes. I listen to the Commish Show on the Fishbowl for my social activism information so I can be a better agitator.
All right. Commish Radio Show, Legal Standpoint with Michael J. Todd, where we're drinking clean water here in Dallas, but in Jackson, Mississippi, maybe they need to take over the water plants in Jackson then if they want to do something.
If they want to do something to help. They've been down there not having clean water for years.
They taking away people's right to vote for the DA, but they don't want to do anything about the water.
The water. Now, but the one thing though, Ed, is this: we're talking about Mississippi, and we're talking about how this kind of stuff could replicate out throughout the country, where they're starting to impose secondary citizenship again as it relates to certain citizens by who they elect, or they're going to impose this American apartheid as the mayor of Jackson, who's Mayor Lanumba, and I know Mayor Lanumba. Years ago, I tried a case down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and his father was one of the attorneys that was in the case, whose name Chokwe Lanumba. And Chokwe was he was a character, man. He was a big, tall guy, about 6'5", 6'6", and did not hold back saying anything that he wanted to say. And so Chokwe ended up being the mayor of Jackson. He was elected initially. During his legal career, he represented Tupac. He represented Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, who they have a special about now. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah. It's called.
But for those people who don't know they don't follow basketball, go ahead and tell them who
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was formerly known as Chris Jackson. He was a basketball player, and he has a special on Showtime now called Stand, which is very, very illuminating because they ran him out of basketball just like they ran Colin Kaepernick out of football because he didn't want to stand for the national anthem.
Yeah, it's true.
He's from Mississippi, too. Did you know Chris Jackson was from Mississippi?
No, I didn't know that.
Gulfport, Mississippi. And he was building a big house down there. But them good old boys, when he wouldn't stand, they burned his house down.
They did.
Burned it down.
And see, that's the reason why, you don't play with Mississippi. Far East Mississippi.
Far East. Now, that's the Barcades, eh?
Nah, that's Ohio players, bro.
Oh, okay.
Gabe going like, I don't even know who that is.
So anyway, but the thing is this. We've talking about, how all these things are happening in Mississippi and how they could start here. But things like this have been happening for a period of time. So people say, oh, I'm just indignant about how could they do this to the justice system in Mississippi? Well, they've been doing this all the time. Let's look at, right, and just to make a point. Back in 2017, in North Carolina, there was an individual named Roy Cooper who won the governorship. And in the lame duck session, the Republicans, who had a majority in both houses, they went through and started passing laws within a 3-day time period that stripped the governor from certain rights, such as who can appoint, him being able to appoint individuals on certain boards within the state. His cabinet, before the governor could just, when it was Republicans, they could just appoint him. But then they wanted to pass a law that said that whoever he appointed had to be subject to confirmation by the Senate. Okay? And even today, as I did a little research, they still have litigation that's ongoing in North Carolina right now concerning what? How and whether they can change those laws to change the rights and obligations of the governor. Now, I'm saying stuff like rights and obligations, but let's break this down. If I'm the governor and I'm able to appoint the person for transportation, the person that's over commerce, then if I'm able to appoint that person that's over the commerce department may say, well, you know what? Black folks, Hispanic folks, women, economically disadvantaged people have not been getting a fair shake. We're going to get some programs through the commerce department where these people can eat, where these people can get a piece of the pie. But if you've got now that Democrat who's now appointing people, and now that individual that comes up before a confirmation hearing and you have nothing but Republicans, if he espouses any type of program such as that, they're going to deny him the confirmation. So changing the laws just on who can appoint and what the process is something that's very big, right? So we've seen it back in North Carolina. We saw it in Michigan back in 2018 where the Democrat wins, they start trying to change the laws, right? And guess where else we see it right now? Of course, we see it down every day out of Florida. It's a whole list of things. If the legislature passed the congressional map in Florida where it had a couple of black districts,
take them away.
And what did DeSantis do?
Took them away.
Took them away, right? Disney came out and said, "Hey, look, man, this don't say gay bill is wrong." What'd he do? Took away that, we're gonna strip you from the autonomy that you had down there in Disney World. The College Board, he's gotten to the point where he has gone from saying, you're not gonna be able to have an African Americans AP course to the point of now saying, we may not even let AP just come in here at all. We're gonna just remove all the programs. Changing the laws to their personal whims. It's been going on for years. So when we see this in Jackson, we just can't sit back like, that's some aberration that's going on in Jackson. This is a tidal wave. This is a tsunami, right? Forget tidal wave. This is a tsunami. Because with a tsunami, what happens before the tsunami hits, Ed? Do you know?
It's just real quiet.
It's just real quiet. The water just kind of starts to seep away from the bank before it then comes back around and what? Destroys everything.
Man, you in a courtroom, man. You giving alliterations and stuff, man. Yeah, I'm in the court. Okay, yeah, we got to convict on this one, man. You hear that tidal wave and everything?
Tsunami. So all of these things we have, and I'm talking about folks that are decent people who really are involved, people who really profess to love democracy. We have to be able to take action. We have to help individuals as it relates to filing these lawsuits to attack these things. When we see something that's happening in Jackson or Florida or even here in the state of Texas, this past week, we mentioned it already. We ain't gonna do this DEI no more. Abbott has said, hey, look, nobody in any agency in Texas needs to do this diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. Diversity, just having more people. And I tell you this, Ed, as an attorney, there are times when you have a case and you're talking about your case, and I've handled a lot of cases, and I kind of know usually what's going on, but sometimes it just is good to get another perspective from other attorneys. What do you think about this? And so diversity of thought is something that I think is worthwhile. So if we have diversity of viewpoints, I mean, what is so wrong with that? What is so evil about that? What, I mean, I don't even understand the whole principle behind these anti-programs. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me. It worries me a lot. It worries me a lot.
So are we going forward or backwards here?
It seems like, you know what? You remember that book we had to read in was it junior high school? A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. It seems like it's both. Because when we look at it from as we sit right now, we are better off than our parents. We are better off than our grandparents and our ancestors before as it relates to being able to be involved in this country. But so that's the good, the best of times. But then you see all of this that is starting this this undercurrent, this tsunami that's trying to come forward, and you feel it's the worst of times. Because rather than proceeding forward, it seems like there's a segment of this country that wants to take us back. And the thing is this, we cannot let it happen. And when I say we, decent people cannot let it happen.
Well, how can decent people do something?
Well, we got to be involved. The first thing to be involved is you got to be aware. And so I think that's one of the things that you and I do to try to highlight what some of these issues are. Because when it gets to the point where they passed a law down there and they got those appointed judges giving people, 50 years, then people going to be all in an uproar. Oh, it's not right that these judges down there doing that. Well, we got to do the uproar now. When I called my guys down in Mississippi, my first question was, is there a defense fund or something that I can send some money to? Because we've got to be able to stop this. Now, it could be money, it could be effort, it could be calling some people. Whatever those efforts are that the people on the ground down there are starting to implement. But we've got to be involved.
Have you heard of any efforts like that?
I asked specifically, did they have any defense funds, things of that nature? He just gave me an assurance that he thought that they would be able to stop it. Okay, how? I don't know. Other than the ways that I've outlined, through the courts.
And this was a colleague of yours that was.
Yeah, it's a colleague that's in Mississippi. Real outstanding. Both attorneys, very outstanding attorneys. And so, and not only that, they're tied in, with the political system in Mississippi.
Are they Republicans?
No, they're not. They're Democrats. They're Democrats, but they're not black. But they good folks.
Oh, well,
they decent folks.
See, because if they were black, they would say we'll pray about it.
No, hey, the days of us praying about it, man. We can't take, we can't just go with we gonna pray.
Just
about
pray
it.
about it. That'll be it.
No, we can't do it like that. We can't do it. We got to get involved. And the thing is, we talked about this before, Ed. Some people gonna be like, man, that's down in Jackson, Mississippi, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Well, when I first got on WFAA, Inside Texas Politics, my first episode commentary was Texas is Mississippi with oil wells.
Really?
And I said, after I did that, I said, they will never invite me to come back on here again.
Right. But they did.
They did.
They did.
But the major point was that Texas and Mississippi, there's no difference.
Right. No.
Except Texas has oil wells.
And they may be a little less blatant. They try to make it sound like it's okay. But the thing is this. And, it's funny, man, because I went over and got my hair cut today over at Fluellen's International.
Oh, okay.
My barber for years.
We doing the plugs now.
Yeah, we doing plugs. Well, that's my man.
Okay.
But there's one thing, and how the fellas just sitting in the barber shop and we're talking and stuff. And we started talking about how they're attacking black folks with this wokeism and stuff like that. And somebody may say, yeah, man, they just kind of coming after us right now, right? And I said, well, you know what, man? They coming after us now because we didn't get involved when they were coming after the Muslims. We didn't get involved, and you remember when I said coming after Muslims, I'm talking about Trump was trying to keep them out. They shouldn't be coming into the country, this, that, and the other, right?
Right.
We didn't get involved when they started talking about all the folks from Mexico were rapists and murderers, and I guess a few of them are good people, right?
A few.
And what was happening all across the country, we were seeing these things that Mexicans, Hispanic individuals were being attacked. Go back to Mexico from where you from, all this. People just felt that they could say anything to folks, right? But then what happened? They killed George Floyd. And when they killed George Floyd, black folks, we lost our mind and said, we gonna get out here and we gonna protest about this. And what scared everybody more than anything, we've said it before, was that it just wasn't black folks out there protesting. It was a cross-section of people that were protesting. And that is what has really scared America, because they see individuals out there who are not thinking black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or whatever. They're thinking what is right and what is wrong. And that's what's scaring folks.
Well, when you were saying earlier, you don't really know if it's getting better or worse sometimes, I think that's how we know, regardless, it's getting better, because it's really easy to pit different people against each other when we just going by our looks. Mm-hmm. But now we're like in a society where I look beyond the looks. Like I'm looking at, which, like you said, what's right and what's wrong. And the more united we are as a people, despite our differences, it's going to be harder to contain us.
Right.
So, like when you say decent folks and awareness, that's a big thing. Like us as black people, we look for certain words like, oh, this messed up. They said that. Or when they say we're going to cut down on crime, oh, that means they're coming for us, and stuff like that.
Right.
If I'm a white person, I don't think that. I think there must be danger outside that they're saving me from. So you have to talk to, you got to talk to your white friends. You got to talk to your other friends and spread that awareness of what our communities are going through.
Well, that's true. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But what I have also outlined is that when they see this cross-section of people that are starting to see right from wrong, what they're doing now with this CRT is that they are going and they are playing to people's fears, not to themselves, but about their children. Mm-hmm. And so what happens when they say, oh, they trying to indoctrinate your child, right? Mm-hmm. A person who maybe say like, well, that's not right, but then they look at it and they say, well, that's not right, but wait a minute. I don't want little Johnny, my boy, to be subject to feeling bad. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they try to scare you into saying that the children will be corrupted. And then, of course, everybody wants their progeny to do well.
And that's the reason where we're going to leave you guys off right now, because we want you to do well and share this out with other people too, because we want everyone to understand that the attack on democracy is a never-ending attack, because someone in Mississippi is drinking the water, and it's bad. You're listening to Michael J. Todd, Legal Standpoint with Michael J. Todd, sponsored by, let's put that drop and we're out.
All right.
Hi, my name is Gail Todd with Townview Realtors. If you find yourself in the market to buy, sell, lease, or maybe you want to be a part of this hot real estate market by investing, just give my team of professionals and I a call at 214-675-9572. At that's 214-675-9572. Or you can email me at gtodd88@yahoo.com.